Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the live show coming to you for the first time on a Wednesday. How are you? And say good evening to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you, fella. How's it going over there? Because you're quite busy at the moment, aren't you?
Man, I am in the process of moving all my stuff into the RV and unpacking dishes and cookware and repairing all of the little things that need to be repaired. And I'm changing all of the systems that are on the RVs so that they will operate independent of being plugged in lead lines, installing 1,000 watts of solar and backup systems. And yes,
Because just to make it clear, I mean, you're back at the truck tonight because we had to do the show and you weren't ready down at the RV. But the RV is quite large, isn't it? I mean, this thing's 50 foot long. It's as long as a narrowboat in this country. You've
yes,
got a lot to do. There's lots of systems you have to get working and integrated, I guess.
yes. And today I have all the power down. I'm installing additional batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And so without power, I can't plug my equipment and my cameras and all that. And so I decided that I would just go back to the truck. And when I come home the next time, I'll have everything up and going.
Good. And just ladies and gentlemen, just so you got some idea of what we're talking about here. Last night, Jeff fitted a TV in the windscreen on the passenger side. And how big is that TV, Jeff? What was it? 43?
Yeah, the one that was in it, was a square. It was a plasma. It was a square TV. It was a plasma, and it just consumed too many watts. It was like 800 or 900 watts, and I replaced it with a 43-inch a letterbox, 6 by 16 by 9 TV. It's 43 inches, it's like twice as big, but it's less than 100 watts. And it will operate. I can run it off an inverter, so I can power it off my batteries. So
Yeah. And just to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, you know how large a 43-inch size television? Jeff can put this in the front next to where he drives on the other side and still see through the windscreen. That's how humongous this thing is. I mean, it's Jeff. Go on. Yeah.
The bottom of it is way over my head. When I'm driving, it's above me.
I'll tell you what, when I go over, I'm going to visit. I'm going to go and see this lady. I cannot wait. I cannot even begin to understand how something that big. Yeah, it's just huge, absolutely huge.
I'm hoping we get to go. I'm hoping we can get in and go gold panning, and I can show you Multnomah Falls. And
we will. I'm looking forward to going gold panning because there's something about. I was thinking about this the other night. You've got this pan in front of you, and you're shaking it, and you're grading, and you're and you start to see the sparkles, the little gold sparkles that nobody on this planet has seen before the person doing the gold panning. You are seeing that gold for the first time. That's amazing. There aren't very many places you can go anywhere in this world and do that, where you're doing something and seeing it for the first time.
You're not going to get rich. You can keep yourself in beans. I guarantee you, there's places I know where I can go, and I guarantee you I can make enough to buy a couple of pops and a can of beans for dinner. I could keep myself in food, but you're never going to get rich. Never. Not here. Maybe in Australia, maybe.
What's going on down there? We seem to have a lot of people coming in, Jeff. Do you want to have a catch up?
We have Ryan with us today. Ryan rode the bus to Taunton, and this morning when I woke up, he was telling me all about it. And we have Sweep the Cat with us tonight. Hi, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Missed having you all last night, but we'll get used to Wednesday night instead. Ryan, I didn't know you have a radio show. Brilliant, that is. Yes, Ryan has his own radio show. You probably know more about where it is and all that, and I will let you tell everyone where it is. We have Roland Barr with us tonight. Hello, Roland. I'll bet the Black Forest is absolutely wonderful. this time of year. Well, it is all the time, but I'll bet it really is now with the trees.
Yeah.
Station Master's with us. Evening, all.
Bernie.
Station Master, you are a class act. I dig the Station Master a lot.
Yeah,
Him and the Wandering Ponderer. I love the Ponderer.
And I love what he's doing with his social club that he's building up and bringing everybody together. That's so good.
Yeah, he is. He's an amazing person to all the time that he puts in it. We have the Wandering Ponderer with us. Greetings, Earthlings. And we have Abigail with us tonight. Hello, Abigail.
Hi. Hello.
Abigail says, come to Scotland and look for gold. I'll send you a couple gold pens.
Yeah. Well, I will be going to Scotland. I mentioned this last week. My mum and dad's house is now sold, subject to contract, but the people who are involved in this, the executors, aren't really being forthcoming with information. So I don't know where in the process it is, but I understand it's about a 9-week process from beginning to end. So I'm hoping at some point when the house sells that I'm going to start traveling, not least of which to America, but I've certainly got places in Scotland I need to go visit. So I will be coming up that way.
It's going to be interesting when you fly home and they scan your luggage, because by then you will have discovered Walmart, and also
yeah,
you gold panning. You're going to be hopelessly addicted. So you're going to want 2 or 3 gold, because gold pans are so cheap. You can get the plastic ones, which work okay. I have an Eastman pan. I have a metal Eastman that I've had for 40 years, but the plastic ones work okay, so you'll have those in your luggage. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, because with my love of Carhartt clothing, I think I'll be going out there with a fairly empty suitcase and go Carhartt shopping while I'm there.
Well, just the fact you can go to Walmart and buy a pair of jeans for $10, I'll bet you can't over there. So
you can. We've got a shop here called Primark, where you can buy a pair of jeans for a tenner. In fact, I get my black jeans from there, but no, Carhartt is where it's at. Go on, Jeff, over to you.
Let's see. Roland Bar. Oh, we have someone, Mary Fennell. Good evening, Gabriel and Jeff and everyone. Oh, and we have Barry West with us. I'm going to really like having this on Wednesdays to be able to have Barry with us.
Yes, it's lovely that Barry can join us. Good evening, Barry. We must get together and have coffee soon. And also, incidentally, great news from Weston-super-Mare. If you remember the film, when I went across and met Barry, we went to Burnbeck Pier, which is a really, really fascinating place in Southport. It's one of the only piers in the UK that actually joins to an island. It's quite unique in that respect. And it used to have a lifeboat station out on the end of it. And as you saw from the footage, if you have seen the footage, it's in a mess. But they've got loads of money now. They've had money from the lottery, the government, all sorts of money is now coming, and they've actually started work on the pier. So where we were, there are actually people working now. So I will be going back for coffee, and we will be going back for an update on that pier, because I desperately want to see that thing restored, because it is an absolute classical piece of Victorian architecture. It's amazing. And if you haven't seen it, just look up Burnbeck, Birnbeck pier on Google, and it will bring up photographs and the story of what's happened. Sorry, Jeff, back over to you. I interrupted.
Oh, no. Abigail says, my niece says she loved the dollar store, preferred Norfolk in America, but wasn't keen on New York. Don't blame her. I just drove a semi into New York City about 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah. And you came close to resigning over it. You nearly quit.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it was horrible. Barry West says, finally we have progress on the pier.
Yes.
Oh, and we have Andrew Norris with us. I heard from Andrew Norris. I watched one of his videos and left the comments.
Yes,
I was very surprised to learn that he is considering retiring and buying an A-frame cabin high up in the Sierras near Lake Tahoe.
Are these the A-frames like you have in America? Because I would live in one of those like that. I think they're brilliant. I think you should do it, man. Lake Tahoe has got a lot to be said for it.
I commented on his video and I said he was talking about the change in demographics of his village. Yeah. And I said, so, where does that leave you? Are you thinking about retiring and, high in the Sierras near Lake Tahoe? And he came back and said, no, I'm here.
That's not on the cards. But I tell you what, seriously, those A-frames, Jeff, are amazing, aren't they? You can buy them in kit full.
Yeah, you can buy them in kit, but they're so easy to build. If I didn't have an RV and I was going to build another house, heaven help me, I don't want to build another house. But if I was going to, I'd build an A-frame because they're just so easy to build.
If you haven't seen an A-frame, I haven't got a picture to show you, but basically an A-frame, the roof goes from its apex and the roof comes down to the floor and it looks like an A shape. And normally one end is completely glass, although it's often set back. So you've got like a veranda, then you've got a glass wall, and then you kind of move into the main area. And the bedroom tends to be up raised on a, what do they call it? Mezzanine level. Oh, gorgeous. I could live in one tomorrow. I would move tomorrow.
In an A-frame, that would be the loft.
The loft, yeah. It's like a mezzanine bedroom. It's beautiful. They're gorgeous. And they're made of wood and they're sustainable because they're made of sustainable wood. They just got everything going for them. And they're not expensive either, are they, Jeff, to buy?
No. If you were going to build a 12 by 12 or 12 by 16 A-frame up in the woods, and you were using scrap lumber, you could do it pretty cheap. I mean, you could build a really nice A-frame for less than I paid for the RV.
And of course, these are made of wood. They're sustainable. They're in keeping with their environment. In fact, you could lose them in the woods, couldn't you? They just blend in.
Yeah, they have a lot of definite advantages. We have Nigel Sandler with us tonight. This Wednesday thing is going to be wonderful.
Good evening, Nigel. Good to see you.
The last I heard from him, a lot of people when they retired, they sit around the house, putter in the garden. Yeah. He's doing
archaeology.
Yeah, he's digging. He's doing digs. He's
I often think I wouldn't mind getting back into doing the odd dig because I have done it in the past, mostly on industrial archaeology on the border of Devon and Cornwall. But I wouldn't mind going back into it. I've dug Roman. Yeah, it's good stuff. I enjoy it. Something. Get the old FHW trowel out and start scraping away. Very, very relaxing.
Barry West says, when are you going to put out some more videos, Jeff? I have to be real honest with you and tell you that for some unknown reason, the company that I work for have decided that they're going to be mean to me. And when I've been working, they have been absolutely running me ragged. I mean, with like horrible runs to New York City and Philadelphia and
leaving you in the path of incoming hurricanes.
Yes, it's been amazingly. It's my job. If you would have asked me 30 years ago, I would have told you, or 30. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I've worked for this company. I'm on my 21st year. And if you would have asked me up until 7 or 8 years ago, I would have told you that I had the greatest job on the planet. And it has just gone downhill. It's just horrible. It's been very stressful and everything. And that's what has curtailed my video making output.
Sorry about that. Sid, don't you knock anything off, mate. Please don't do it. There you go.
Nigel Sadler says one of my family is awaiting her flight home from Orlando. Another is near Cleveland, Ohio, until the end of the month. Cleveland, that's the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and not far from Canton, the home of the Football Hall of Fame. Cleveland is the waterfront. Cleveland, very, very nice, very pretty.
No, we're not talking about football at the moment after last weekend, are we, Jeff?
Oh my goodness, Green Bay. They need to forget about all of that. They need to forget all about that Jordan Love till he's healthy, and they need to play that Willis guy. That guy, he wants to win. Nigel Sadler says, I am also a National Trust volunteer at Item Moat.
Let's have a look at that. Yeah, see what he said. Blah, blah, blah. Item Motel. IGH as in right. Oh, yeah. Yes, so anyway, we've got a lot of people coming in tonight. We've moved the show to a Wednesday. It was Bernie's idea. He thought it would be good because if people got used to watching his show on a Wednesday, which obviously they have done because he's been going longer than we have, it would make sense for us to go on an alternate Wednesday. So I thought, great, because if I'm coming in after being away filming at the weekend, Tuesday doesn't give me long to get the show ready, but Wednesday gives me an extra day. So, shall we have a film, Jeff? Shall we watch a bit of a film? It's 1:15 and I've not played one yet.
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Well, do you know what? We've got another challenge coming up. I think it was Swindon. I've not done it yet. I think I might go and do it next week. But I thought we had a failure a while ago, didn't we? We seem to have a failure whenever it involves American food. One of our very first challenges was a failure because the shop let us down when we got there, wasn't it? Well, this is what happens when we thought we'd go and try Denny's. You find me today at Bristol Parkway because I'm on my way to Swansea. And the reason I'm on the way to Swansea is because I've got a There in the Back in the Day challenge to film. More about that later. So today's challenge is, can I find myself an American diner and get back in the day? I found a place called Denny's in Swansea, which apparently is a bit of an institution on stateside. So I'm going to head for that and see if that counts. Oh, sound missing. Sorry about that. Hopefully it'll come back in a minute. Otherwise I'll have to talk over this. So here we are, having arrived at Swansea. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Well, with Swansea Station behind me, my next task is to go and find where I'm going. And I think it's that way, but it could be that way. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, nothing juxtaposes the old and new quite like an ugly modern monstrosity like that, built next to the remains of what was the city's castle. Sadly, the inner area is locked off and there's not a lot to be seen from here. You can see the tower in front of us, and obviously you can see where the spiral staircase would have gone up inside by where the windows are. So I've come down to the castle first because I wanted to have a little look-see before I actually set off for my food. I had a bit of a chilly dog last night, and so the maximum amount of time I can put between it and what I eat today is probably advisable. So I thought rather than go and eat, then have a look around Swansea, I'm going to come to Swansea, then go and eat. Leaving the town now, and we're heading down here to where all the shops are that we need to go to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a heaven. Look, right next door to the Treats dessert shop is where we're going, to Denny's. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I've made it. Look, Denny's, America's Diner, I'm here. So that needs nothing to do but to go in and see what it's all about. Let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears I'm not as far forward as I thought I was. I've just walked out of Denny's. Jeff is disgusted, I'm disgusted. You walk in there, they don't serve you. There's nobody around. The place is like a ghost town, it's deserted. And then eventually I found someone to come and give me a menu. I had to go and look for them. Then they brought a menu over, and then nobody came back to take my order. So I had to go up to the kitchen and got somebody to make me a milkshake, which was delivered. And then I'm pressing on this button, which apparently doesn't work. And eventually this girl came over and I said, I'd like to order, please. And she says, oh, you need to download the app. Oh, what? I've gone in there for a sit-down meal. I do not expect to have to download an app. I'm sorry, Denny's, but that's not good enough. Anyway, I'm going to go and find somewhere else to eat now. Well, here we are back at Bristol Parkway after a bit of a disappointing trip to Swansea, really. We had hoped to finally put the American Diner Challenge to bed today, but sadly it wasn't the case. So that remains an open challenge, I guess. I'm heading back now from here through Bristol Temple Meads to get a bus back to Glastonbury, but for now I'm waiting for the train back to Temple Meads so that I can go home and feed the cats. So for now, from this video, goodbye. Well, there you go. What a disappointment that was. What a disappointment that was. It was, the thing is, the milkshake that I had was absolutely delicious. Probably one of the best banana milkshakes because I always have a banana. Probably one of the best banana milkshakes I've ever had. So obviously, had I got some food, it would have been good. But as you could see from that film, it was. And I heard recently they're closing them down in America now, aren't they?
Yeah, they announced it 150 closed the other day. The thing about it was I actually found that online, and you guys only have one Denny's. And I thought it was so weird that you guys would only have one. I'm the one that said, hey, you should go, Denny's is an American thing. You should go there and have breakfast, kind of thing. But yeah, no, the order over an app. And I mean, Denny's is about sitting at a table and having them bring you coffee and, having a nice meal and bringing you pie when you're done. So I don't blame you for not wanting really to get involved.
Yeah.
Nigel Sadler says, one of my family is awaiting her flight home from Orlando. She needs to get the hell out of Dodge. There's a hurricane out there in the Gulf.
Is there? Oh, another one. Yes. I didn't know that. Well, they'd probably reroute them off and then fly her out, wouldn't they?
Abigail says, Gabriel, do you know what's happening to all the people that camp on the side of the road going into Glastonbury? There was talk of moving them.
Yeah, I'm not sure which ones you're if you could be more specific, Abigail. There's two lots. There's the lots who turn up for the festival and just chance it and park up all over the place, or we are inundated in this town with caravans, people living in caravans by the side of the road.
Careful.
No, we are seriously inundated, and nobody's taking responsibility for it, and no one's, housing these people or providing a safe site for these people. It's just out of control. It needs somebody in power to say, right, okay, let's give them somewhere, because there's just nowhere for them to go. A lot of guys and girls, and I just think it's unfortunate. And then they get a bad name when you get a few druggy ones come in and give the area a bad reputation. There's a lot of very nice people trying to live their lives in these caravans. They're bringing up kids, they're taking them to school every day. But like anything else, you get a small number of people who give everything a bad name. So no, I don't know. I mean, there are moves. There's always been moves to move them on, but where'd you move them on to?
Housing has just gotten so expensive. It's like, for me, just to rent an apartment. I mean, to rent an apartment here in the States, you have to come up with the first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit to turn on the electricity, deposit to turn on the gas, deposit. I mean, by the time you pay all of the things and have a television that works and lights that turn on and everything, it would, even a rudimentary apartment, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
It's the same here. It's the same here. I mean, you have to have the deposit. Then there's like another month's deposit. Then there's all sorts. Sometimes you need to save £4,000-5,000 just to move into a flat, and you think to yourself, really? The trouble is, I guess, there's a shortage, so landlords could be picky and do what they like to a certain extent, and B, there are people out there who just trash these places, and they are not taking any chances. It's the few spoiling it for the rest of them. I mean, I'm lucky. This house here, I don't own it. It's a housing association. I've been in either a council house or housing association since I brought the kids up, because that goes back for a while.
Station Master says that was a disgusting situation at the diner, Gabriel. Hope you're glad you are putting it out there. They don't deserve customers at that rate. Mary Fennel says, I don't do apps. Disgusting the way they treat customers.
It is.
Let's see. Barry asked me what happened at my company. Really quick, I will just say they had the person that was in charge of over the whole company, the manager. His name was Chuck, and he was the most wonderful person there ever was. He cared whether you lived or died. Him and his wife, I guess they were going on a technology-free weekend. They booked some cabin a billion miles from anywhere where their cell phones wouldn't work and all that, because they wanted to get away from everything. And Chuck had a heart attack and died. By the time his wife, he was a big guy. He was bigger than me. You think I'm big? You should have seen Chuck. Chuck was like 6'7", like 380, 390. I mean, he was huge. He was like a pro football player. Anyway, his wife couldn't get him in the car, and it was a process. And by the time she got him in the car and got him back to town, he had died. And a short time after that, the assistant manager, the guy that was second in command, his name was Jeremy Hardison. He was the most wonderful person you ever wanted to meet. Him and another employee, they were playing handball. He was only in his 30s, and he had a stroke and died. They were playing handball, and when they replaced those two people, the entire vibe was different, and it just over time it just went downhill.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? And you just get different people, and because your controller, the actual person you deal with, is gone really poopy as well. So it's just the whole thing. It's just, I don't know. At least you're retiring soon, bro. That's a good thing. Go on.
Yeah, I am going to retire as soon as I get the RV done and everything. I'm gonna
get the hell out of there. Going back to Swansea, that was a challenge which we failed. So obviously, and there's no way we can unfail it, because there's only one Denny's, and if there was another Denny's, I don't know if I'll go back to it now anyway. When I go to America, I'll go to Denny's, because obviously in America that's what it will look like. But the other thing was, a few weeks ago now we pulled out the next challenge that I needed to do, and that was to get to Swindon and back and see the railway museum in Swindon and look at the old railway works there. So I'm probably going to try and do that next week, because we've not done a there and back challenge in a while. It's got slipped away and other things have gone on, and we've not been done it. But it was selected, it was chosen, so we will be doing it. So hopefully, by the time I see you in a fortnight, we will either have been and here's a film, or we'll been and there's a film coming. One of the two. Plus, it should be interesting. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the GWR, I have to say, and it's kind of their museum. But I live in their area. I mean, my railways here are GWR. I just don't think they were very nice to my favourite railway, the Somerset and Dorset. They were not good, because basically they were involved in the Somerset and Dorset when the Somerset and Dorset started. Then the Somerset and Dorset went off with the Midland and the Southern and pushed the GWR's nose out of joint. So anyway, that's another story. I'm going to do a video about that at some point, because it's quite interesting.
I have to say the station master sent me a book. It was an anniversary edition of the railroad that he works at, and it was like a commemorative book.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm staying in my RV right now, and I have all the power systems are all down because I'm adding batteries and I'm adding auxiliary ways to charge the batteries and everything. So, I haven't had TV and technology and all that. I have been reading that book. It was wonderful. I would have loved to have been there for their railroad, their weekend they had when they had festivities. I would have loved to have been there. And the other book that I've been reading is Trevor Deasley's book, which was a gift from Trevor, and it was forwarded to me from the Wandering Ponderer. And I've been reading it, and I really have enjoyed it. And the third book that I've been reading this week is a book on the history of Coggeshall that the wonderful Wandering Ponderer sent me. And I've been reading it too.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the book I've been reading here. It's I had a tidy up today because we're going live tonight.
Barry West says we definitely need more affordable housing. Yes, we do. It is ridiculous that people have to spend more than half of everything they make for a rudimentary flat. That's just ridiculous.
I've not looked into it in great detail, but we did have a budget here, an autumn budget, like a mini budget, last week. And they've been making lots of noises about getting the housing market going again. I've not looked too deeply into what they're promising, but they do seem to be actually making things happen. The problem we have in this country, we had a thing called council houses, which were social housing at low cost, which people used to live in. But then we had a government back in the 70s and early 80s that decided, together with selling off all of our industry, it would be a good idea if we sold off all of our council houses. So they gave the right to buy. So suddenly you could buy your council house for next to nothing because they gave huge discounts. And they did it only because they knew it would bring in voters. They gave me my house. Dick, I'll vote for them. And of course now our housing market, our housing stock has never recovered from that. Never recovered. So we'll be interesting to see if this government do make any leeway into that, because there is a desperate need for it. I mean, the other thing over here is we have a lot of Airbnb. Airbnb is a thing that people seem to go into, because if you're renting a property and you've got tenants in there, it's hard to get them out. And if they start, destroying your property, it's hard. But with Airbnb, none of those rules apply. People stay for a night, 2 nights, and they're gone. You still get your place trashed occasionally, I guess, but you don't have the troubles of Section 21s and all these things to get people out again. So I don't know. Lots of people are buying property up to turn into Airbnb, which again shortens the housing market. Oh, here's Poppy. Come on then. Which
Abigail says, same here in Scotland, the prices are really expensive. That's why my son still lives with us. Is that really why? Is that really why? Or is it your smiling face every morning and the cooking?
And the hot cup of tea, yeah, that has something to do with it.
Yes, the fried potato. Oh, I can only imagine what the food would be like.
Oh, the food would be amazing. Food would be amazing.
Yeah, with this tonight, Gabriel. I watched your video of the Halloween celebration. Curry evening looked amazing.
Oh, it was. Do you know, I've not put anything on here. It's just a video. It was released today, just before the show. The guys over at the Beckett's Inn, which is a pub I've covered a few times because it is so good in the community. For the last 25 years, the landlady there, Bridget, has been doing, well, she told me the other night she has a charity night every 2 months, but for every year on the 30th of the month in October, they have a Halloween do. And apparently it's so popular now after 25 years, it doesn't even get as far as being advertised and it's sold out. So I'm booked in for next year already. But I went along and the food was amazing and it was a great evening and there was lots of cakes and they raised £370 for a charity where they help kids over near Somerton, which is brilliant. I just think, that pub is a brilliant example of what a pub can be in the community. And here's Poppy. Hello, Poppy. Which is really good. So yes, I always like to promote those guys. Anything they do, I'm there. But yes, thank you for saying that. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and it's a great pub.
Station Master says, "I know that book, Gabe. It is very good."
Oh, it is. It is. I watched. This is Great British Railway Journeys. It's based on a television program which had an ex-politician in it. And he used to go round, he would do a journey, like from Paddington down to Cornwall, but he would get off and he'd look at the towns and he would look at the places and he'd interview the people. I
remember it. They played it on PBS over here.
It's excellent. I think he did one in Ireland. I think he did a European one. But this book is based on it, but it's not him. So it's actually a very interesting travel book about British Rail and train journeys. And of course, it's close to my heart because one of the things I'm going to be doing when the house is sold is I'm going to be doing a lot more traveling. And I don't have a car. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to buy a car. But what I have decided is I'm going to do a lot of traveling, and that means traveling by train and bus in this country and in Europe. And in America, for that matter, because when I come to America, I've got this thing about flying. I'm not very good. In fact, I'm hopeless. So I figured, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, and Jeff's smiling already. First thing I'm going to do is I'm only going to fly to Chicago because it's a bit closer. It's a smaller flight. And then I'm going to get on a train because we have the wonder that is Amtrak. Now, if we're going to go down to, if Jeff's still working, we're going to go down to Las Vegas. That's one train. If Jeff has retired, I'm going to head over on this. Is it the Silver something that goes across the top? It's got a name, hasn't it? They name their train.
It's the Empire Builder, I think, that goes across the top.
Yeah. Goes across towards Portland, and I get off in a place called Centralia, and then Jeff will be there, and we'll go and have a Chinese. But I figure that to see America, you're not going to see it flying over it. You'll see down if it's a clear day. But if you get on a train, then you're going to see America because it will stop in all these towns that you've been hearing about all your life. It might not stop for very long. In fact, I think there was one point where it stopped long enough for me to go to a store that we were going to look at, wasn't there? But normally they're quite... Albuquerque. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
But hello, Poppy. I just want... the food on those trains is supposed to be second to none. And the sleeping.
Oh man, I had trout and eggs and potatoes for breakfast. I I mean, you eat like it's not cheap, but you eat like a king.
Yeah. I think we priced it up. It was about £300 or £400 for the journey. And if you look at the price of flying all the way, and then you look at the price of flying to Chicago and add the training, we worked it out. There wasn't an awful lot of difference, was there? It was more expensive, but boy, what an adventure! I mean, what an adventure just to go across America and see it all like that from the back of one of those trains. I want to do that. I really want to do that. So that's something we'll be doing, hopefully. But yeah, traveling on British trains. I mean, Scotland. I want to go to Ireland. I want to see how the trains work over there. There's some really great train journeys over there. There's a couple of YouTubers that I watch, and they're both been in Ireland recently, traveling around on the trains. And there's some beautiful stations over there, and it's just, yeah, got to do that as well. How are we doing in the comments, Jeff?
Abigail says, yes, Jeff, it's the cooking. Yeah, I kind of figured that. And me and potatoes, I'm as Irish as the day is long. We get along just wonderful.
Yeah, I must admit that there's something about potatoes cooked well. I was looking at a recipe that had potatoes wrapped around something, and yesterday I had a potato dog, which is like a spicy hot dog wrapped in mashed potato and deep fried. They sell them in the Co-op here. It's actually quite nice, I have to say. It wasn't a cork dog, which would have been really nice, but hey, potato dog, who's counting?
So tell them the story of you overdoing it on chili.
Right, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll admit to this one. Jeff said to me about cooking something which involved chili, and I said, well, the only chili I can get in my local store is by a company called Stags. And at that point, Jeff started jumping up and down, making a whole load of whoopee noise, because apparently Stags are what they've got in America, and they are really, really good. They are
made in Texas. It's a very good chili.
So I bought 4 cans because I was going to buy one, and Jeff said, no, buy a few. You'll eat them.
Actually, what I said Stag chili is really good, and you're going to like it. So instead of just buying 1 can and saying, I wish I'd have bought more, go ahead and get 3 or 4 because you're going to like it, and then you'll have them on hand so that if you work late or whatever, you could just pop it in the microwave and have a quick dinner.
Yeah. Now, part of that is true. I did buy 4, and I did like them. To the point where some went into my dinner that night, and the rest were eaten with a spoon. It was delicious. I just couldn't stop. I was like, I like this. This is really nice. Unfortunately, a whole brand new pack of toilet paper was gone through the next day. It was carnage. It was, it was not good.
Being a chili virgin and eating 4 cans of chili in one setting.
But it was good. I really, it was tasty. I mean, having said that, I've got to admit I've not bought another can since. I am currently working up to that, but yes. Any more comments, Jeff?
Station Master says Stag sells good, tinned haggis too. It's a mix of wild and farmed, but not a bad taste.
I'm not sure. It's very, very cruel the way they kill them up there. It's very cruel. They actually play them Scottish music over and over again, very loud, and they have a shed near the top of a cliff. And these poor little things, to get away from the sound of this bloody Scottish music, they run over the cliff to their doom, where there's a man down there, hey, I'll have some of that, and he puts them in a big truck. They get taken away and minced up in the factory. I think that's really cruel.
Jackie says it was Michael Portillo that had that, the railroad show.
He's the man. Yes, he always wore very interesting coloured trousers. They were pink, blue, green. He always wore different colours. Very, very. I met him once, actually, when he was still a Mr. Portillo. I was in a gaggle of photographers outside a building in Liverpool when he was doing what he was doing in the government, and he came out, and I got an interview with him. So that was interesting. Long time ago. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, you know, what he was like in Parliament, I don't know, but he comes across as a nice enough guy when you meet him on TV. Whether he is or not, wouldn't like to say.
Abigail says, I'm Scottish, but I don't do haggis. I don't think I would do haggis.
No. I can say it's this is wee. No, it's not nice. It's not nice. It's not a good way to go, is it? Shall we have another film? We've only had one. What do you think?
Sure. Station Master says, good description, Gabe. The Scottish ones do suffer from lemming syndrome, which is why they tend to run off of cliffs. Lemmings, they're the little critters that go in mass and run over. Yes, I remember.
It's where the Scottish farmers got the idea. Someone saw a YouTube channel, hey, that's a way. Hey, that way the old haggis. I see you, and they incorporated it. And I think they used to run after them with a big stick before, and it was a bit, you know.
Do you know the Wandering Punter sends me pictures of his dinner all the time, which is very, very cruel. Because oftentimes I'm like in Kansas and I'm driving out in the middle of nowhere and I'm starving. And then this picture will come up and it's his dinner, you know. So sometimes it can be kind of cruel. But he sent me a picture of his dinner one night. And I have to say, it really looked really, really, really good. It was something and squeak and something.
Squeak. Oh, yes, bubble and squeak, fried mashed potato with things in it. Ooh, lovely.
I looked at that. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I was there, I don't know what they would eat. I would be good with that. But, you know.
Bubble and squeak is a Monday dish because it's best made after you've had a roast dinner. Because all the vegetables and the things and the gravy and everything that are left over from a roast dinner chopped up and fried up in the mashed potato. There's nothing quite like it, especially with an egg on top.
You know, Ponderer can cook. He can. He did some barbecue chicken. He called it barbecue chicken. I think he probably did it in the oven. But I have to say, it looked pretty tasty. I mean, you know, there was like, of course, him and the missus, you know, they have like 2 or 3 little pieces of chicken on a plate, you know. It would be for me, but you know, that's their dinner, you know.
Yeah. That's right. I was thinking the other night of that curry do if I had Jeff with me, because they cook everything for that meal on literally a domestic size 4-ring cooker. It's a 600 ml wide cooker. You see it in the film. How she manages it, I don't know, but she probably wouldn't if you were there. There would have been a large supply and demand problem.
Yeah. Under one day said they have their grocery store. They do home delivery. And while he was telling me this, I was chuckling to myself. I was thinking, well, if I come over there and visit, we'll have to have him on call. You know, we'll have to have him on speed dial.
Absolutely. He can move in and give him the room downstairs in readiness.
Because your portions would starve me. So, you know. Also, he buys like one lottery ticket, you know, because I buy a lottery ticket every once in a while, and he buys one, and everything. And you know, he said the other day, he says, "Well, if I win," he says, "you'll have to come over and visit." And I said, "Yeah, if you win, you'll need what you win to feed me."
Yeah, that's so true. It's 10 to 9. Time is running away from us. I'm enjoying this so much. I didn't realize how late it was. I want to show a film just briefly now. We have an event here called the Carnival. Now, the Carnival, if you're not from this area, manifests itself as a parade with beautifully constructed carts. Don't call them floats, they're carts. and they built in great secrecy in sheds out on the levels, and then they come out and they go all around the towns of North Somerset, starting at Bridgewater and finishing. The last one they do is in Glastonbury here. Now, this I'm going to be working with one of the carnival clubs next year so that you can see behind the scenes of how they make these things. But basically, the story is it goes back to the Monmouth Rebellion. And as you know, back in the period that this took place, there was a rebellion and it all took place in the West Country. And it has its roots in there, but it has an awful lot of family members and communities build these carts together. And the other thing I wanted to tell the story of is it actually is a fundraiser for charity. But this is what I've got here is some footage that I shot last year. And I'm showing it now in case anybody thinks, hey, I wouldn't mind going to see that. That looks quite impressive. I'm going to Glastonbury. So it's coming up on the, let me get my dates correct on this. I don't want to get this wrong and give you the wrong steer, but it's coming up on the 2 seconds. It comes up on the 16th, which is only not this weekend, Saturday, it's Saturday week. But it's enough of me talking. Have a look at what goes on. Gentlemen, here we are outside the town hall. The procession is probably due here in the next few minutes. The crowds are beginning to build up. So any second now, we'll see the first float coming. It's going to come from in that direction. So there you go. I was noticing Ernie's joined us. Good evening, Ernie. Good to see you. And Jacqueline Barrett was saying, pointed out something very what I hadn't mentioned it. There's two types of cart. There's like where they're moving around, like you saw there, but there's also what's called the tableau, where they create a tableau literally, and nobody moves. They're like that. And believe you me, that is harder than dancing because you've got to maintain that position. They're on that cart for quite a long time. It runs from out of town on the bypass, comes all the way through, up the high street to the top and turns left. So, and if it's cold and you're not moving, you need some pretty devastating drawers on underneath because you're going to freeze otherwise on a tableau. But they're amazing. Now, the Carnival Club that I'm working with next year, hopefully, if I can get this sorted out with them, have given me permission to put a camera on the float as it travels through Glastonbury. So I've got a 360 camera that I can use that I'm going to put on there, and it will record everything all around. So that's going to be interesting if we can pull that off. If we can't pull it off this year, we'll definitely pull it off next year because we'll be getting lots of footage of them. But they're a lovely club, lovely. And the thing about these guys, they are wonderful people. When you meet them, they're the salt of the earth. These guys, they're really nice people, and whole families take part. You know, there'll be mothers, daughters, sons, fathers. You know, one will be driving the tractor, one will be doing the soaring for the carpentry that they need to do, and another one will be on there, dressed up. Absolutely fabulous, and famous across the world because it covers the whole of North Somerset. How are we doing over there in the comments, Jeff?
Darren Tribe says, good evening, both the carnival. What amazing experience. Me and Gail see you there. I have to say that out of all the things that goes on in Glastonbury, that electric parade would be the thing that I would most like to see. I can't even imagine how much it costs to put that on, and to do it in so many towns.
Yeah, I mean they travel around, but we've got a bypass in Glastonbury. And they take up one entire length of the bypass because they park on it, they close it. And yeah, they go around all around Somerset, Weston-super-Mare, Taunton, Bridgewater, Glastonbury. The list goes on, and they are just stunning. Absolutely. Wells has one. They are absolutely stunning. And the good news is the long-range weather forecast is saying we should be all right on the night for weather. So fingers crossed. We've got some high pressure over us that's going to be in place for at least another 10 days. So that should cover us having a nice dry carnival. Did you say Darren and Gail are here? Hi, guys. These are my friends from Stourbridge who we went up to see with Merlin. They're coming to Glastonbury this weekend and the next weekend, I think. So we're going to be hooking up, and there'll probably be a video of something coming out with them in it. But yeah, looking forward to that. Who else is in, Jeff?
Ernie says, hello, Jeff. I hope you're well. I'm very well, Ernie, and I'm very happy to see you here. Abigail says it will be very busy for Carnival. Does the town really ramp up for it?
You can't move. It is rammed. I don't know if you saw in that film, but what they do is they also set up burger bars and hot dog stalls and all that sort of thing all along the side. Yeah, there's a happy man. All along the side of the road, all the way up, and it is absolutely rammed. They put railings along the side of the road because obviously they can't have people incursion on the road. You get from the roundabout as you come into town to the top of the high street, there is no pavement space, is what I would say. There's no pavement space. It is just rammed. If you look on my channel, if you look back, not last year, but the year before, I did 2 videos. One, because the other thing is I'll get a strike the minute I put any of this up because they're all blaring out different bits of music. So copyright, you can't do it. Which is why you'll see the music I have overlaid on that, and I have to do that every year. But what I did 2 years ago is I actually recorded the entire parade. I got a camera on a sucker, and I had it on Kim Von Coles from the Heart of the Tribe Gallery. She lives on the High Street, and so I had it on one of her upstairs windows looking down, and I recorded the entire procession without any breaks, so you can actually see how long it goes on for. Because what I haven't shown there is there's also smaller ones. They're not all big, massive carts like that. There's smaller ones, and there's also on foot ones. You'll get somebody who's walking around with, like, I don't know, SpongeBob SquarePants outfit on, and they'll be walking around. You'll get groups of people marching down. It's a great night. It is a great night. And then, of course, the other thing we've got coming up later in the year is the Frost Fair, which is another really good one. That comes
We've lost Jackie. Jackie is saying good night. Good night, Jackie. It was wonderful having you here. You are the person that keeps the station master on the straight and narrow.
Nice one, Jackie. And we'll see you in a fortnight on a Wednesday. Now it's easy to remember.
Ernie says, I'll watch the parade from the Beckett's. Now, that would be fun.
Are you here, Ernie, for that weekend? Because we'll hook up with you. Ernie came down a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to buy a picture. He likes going into the Heart of the Tribe, the people I work with, and he bought a very nice picture by a lady called Gemma Tricky, who is an artist that I'm going to be interviewing soon. I interviewed her once in the gallery, and I bumped into her, and she's invited me to go to her studio and interview her there. So that is going to happen as soon as it's set up, basically.
Andrew Norris says, hey guys, I'm off to bed. We are an hour ahead since the clock's changed. I have not gotten used to it. Loved what I saw. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks, Jeff. We'll catch up with the rest of the live tomorrow. Good night.
Fantastic. Well, we're almost over now because it's just turned past 9 o'clock. We've done our hour, Jeff, already. Where did that go? It flew past.
Where does it go?
Where does it go? Where does it go? Well, I hope everybody enjoys us going out on a Wednesday night now. Still, I don't know what we're going to do to get people to phone in. Maybe if I did this a bit more and did this a bit more, they might. It's a bit too late now. But, yeah, hopefully we'll get some people calling in maybe next week. Maybe we'll get some people sending some film as well. That'd be good.
It's a shame that they can't see your minute clock because it's really cool.
Yeah, here it is. Can you see this? I don't know. It's gone. It went away, didn't it? Because I was. I moved it. Let me just do this. You can see it past the cat. This is a great clock. Jeff sent me this, and it's for those who can't tell the time. And it tells you it is 9 o'clock. In a minute, it will switch to tell you it's 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. And then so on and so forth all the way through. And I've just got it hung up behind me because normally it's over my screen. And I thought, you can't see it. And Jeff said, you can hang that up. So what I've done is I've hung it here. But I don't know. What did I do? Let's see if I can do one of these. Is it this one? There we go. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's kind of flickering a bit. It's got that LED thing, LED thing going on.
Because you guys are 50 hertz.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Darren Tribe says, hi, Jeff. How's your RV coming along? It's coming along really good, but stuff takes a lot longer than you think that it would to, repair all the little things and upgrade all the little things. My RV, it's a 1993. It's a Rexall Airbus. It's the largest one they made. And it's really nice inside. The exterior, the people that owned it lived in Yuma, Arizona. They lived right on the desert, right with the saguaro cactuses. And the outside's very sun-bleached. But it's very nice inside. But they never did anything to it. It's never been... It's all the systems like the TV. It was the TVs were the old style CRTs that don't work anymore. The pump is that pumps the water for the sinks in the shower and stuff, pumps the water from the tanks. It still works, but it's old and it makes noise, and it's all these little things that I'm repairing, upgrading, replacing, that type of thing. It's taking a lot longer than I thought that it would.
Yeah, and it doesn't always go. I mean, like last night, you were fitting that huge TV, and that was a bigger job than you thought, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It has what I'm working on next. What my next project is, it's has a propane furnace that it's like a central air furnace, but it consumes energy horribly, and I don't really need that. So I got a waste oil burner. It burns literally anything. It'll burn French fry oil. It'll burn literally anything that'll burn. It'll burn it, and I'm installing it because I basically can when I change the oil in the engine, I can burn it, use it for heat, and that's my next project, and it's gonna take a while.
Mm. Yeah, watch this space. I mean, when Jeff has finished, there will be a tour. Jeff will take us round and show us his new palace on wheels. Because believe you me, I've seen photographs and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be truly, truly amazing. And it'd be nice because this poor man here has lived in a truck the size of a broom cupboard for the last 21 years now. Is it, Jeff?
I'm on my 21st year. Yeah. I don't really mind that so much. I mean, those of you who know me, my dad worked in construction, and we went from construction job to construction job when I was growing up. So I'm kind of a man without a town. So it's that aspect that moving around all the time doesn't really bother me. But the stress of this job is getting to be a little much at this point.
They basically they'll give Jeff a job and it's like 1,500 miles, and it's like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, and they want it there Wednesday afternoon. Completely undoable jobs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been an amazing. But I'm close to retirement now, so, and I'm going to be a gold panner, trout fisherman, and a professional canned bean taster.
Absolutely. That's a good job. Good job, canned bean taster. Wow, I like the sound of that. Jeff, tell them what your dream job will be.
My dream job?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the door greeter at Walmart. Those people, they're usually a retired person. They're sitting at the door at Walmart. When you come in, they say, "Hi, welcome to Walmart." That would be all right.
You could do that, couldn't you? Well, I guess we'd better let all these lovely people go. Do you want to take a last look through the comments, Jeff, before we do?
Darren Tribe says, if Gabriel don't mind, you could give us dates when you're both on, would be good for the viewers. I'm not sure I understand.
No, me neither. He'll explain it to me.
Abigail says, Jeff, you can come and do some jobs for me. I'll tell you, I would, just for the cooking. I would.
I tell you what, I've seen Jeff's handiwork. He's pretty handy. He's built 3 houses now. He can maintain cars. He can weld. There's very little this guy can't turn his hand to. So he would be the world's best odd job man, I guess.
Yeah, and the village, you always say the village she lives in is legendarily beautiful.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I'll tell you what I would really be good at. As someone that worked in the shipyard, welded deck plates, and was a fitter and all that, I'll tell you who needs me, and that's the station master at his Yeah. I mean, somebody that I was in the Boilermakers Union for years, so.
Yeah, you'd be fully qualified to do that sort of thing, wouldn't you?
Abigail says, I lost my father-in-law, so I have plenty of jobs.
Oh. Well, Jeff had planned to come over this next week because he wanted to see the carnival, but things didn't work that way. But he will be coming over at some point. I'll probably go there first, but then Jeff is going to be coming here, and we will have to do some sort of magical mystery tour. He'll need to see parts of the British Isles when he's here. There's a couple of things we've got to do. We've got to go and see Mr. Tim Hunkin over on the East Coast. We've got to get ourselves over to Ireland because Jeff wants to go and see where he kind of comes from in Ireland. And there's a Mr. P to visit, and there's all sorts of things to do when he comes over. Poor guy, his feet's not going to touch the ground when we get him here.
You know what? I don't know if they're prepared for it or not, but the Wandering Ponderer and the Station Master, I'm coming to visit.
Yeah, get a forklift. Yeah. So, is there any more comments in the end? I'm looking, it's 9:10. We're keeping all these lovely people away. Although, I mean, I'm happy to carry on chatting if nobody wants to go.
Nah, we should probably let everybody go. I hate to do it. It's been a lot of fun tonight. I've had a lot of fun. It
has been good. And you know what? I've had 6 videos lined up. We've only shown 2 of them because we've been so busy. Yeah.
We didn't have Emma. I'm probably going to get her. I'm going to try really hard to get her coupon in the mail tomorrow.
Yes. There is a box coming this way, isn't there, with a coupon in it? I don't know why.
Yeah.
No, that's why. I thought he was quiet. There he is. You all right? Cats aren't keen on him. I had Poppy, the grey one, sitting here the other night, and he went off. And I've never seen that cat move so quickly. Didn't he? You scared my pussy. You horrible thing. Yes, you did.
Was the cat thinking, oh no, now we have yellow squirrels?
I think so, yeah. With no tails. Bless him.
Well, we should say good night to everybody, and hope to see you again in a couple weeks.
Yes, on a Wednesday again. Looking forward to it. Again, thank you to Bernie for suggesting the Wednesday, which I think is panning out as a good idea. Thank you to everybody that's come along and joined in tonight. If you watch my videos and you haven't yet, please subscribe and like the videos. It helps the algorithm, doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the algorithm, which means we are going to be able to make more and better videos going forwards because we need to get the ones we're showing out. We're still only getting, we've had a couple of videos with 1,000 views recently, but we're still only getting 300-400 views. We need to get those views up if we're going to, take this channel where we want it to go. So please, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. On that note, I guess it's good night from me and it's good night from Jeff, isn't it?
Yeah, remember everybody, Saturday mornings. Well, first of all, I should say congratulations to the Wandering Ponderer. He has a new granddaughter.
Yes, absolutely.
He'll be back soon making videos again. His videos come out on Saturday mornings. He's the Wandering Ponderer. And of course, we have Station Master's Choice, Walkymentaries, and more. The Station Master. He's putting out videos of stuff that he did earlier in the year, and his wonderful model railway. I'm building his model railway, and Andrew Norris 2, which Andrew Norris, I should tell everyone that I have something for the for Andrew Norris. You and I have come up with something that he will really like. More on that later. He is Andrew Norris 2. His last video was the changing demographics of the village where he lives.
Which was brilliant. And the boat didn't go down either. He blew it up and it stayed up. Last time I went in one of those boats, it was going... I had to pull into the shore before it sank. And the guys with the radio show as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see them tonight. Susie and their radio show that they do on Saturday mornings on Top Cat Radio. Yes, I listened to it last week. It was very interesting. I guess we should say good night to everybody. We'll see you again in a couple weeks.
Yes, and also don't forget Ryan on his radio show as well on GWS. But for now, from us, it's good night from me.
And good night from me. Bye, everyone.
Good night. Bye-bye.